Hi guys, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get this glowy face look. If you have oily skin, oily combo skin, or even if you have normal skin or dry skin, how to get this look and maintain it, making sure that it lasts all day, that it stays glowy all day, and that you don't end up looking like a grease ball by the end of the day. Side note, this eye look will not be in this video. This will be next week's video. So today is strictly on the face. But if you would like to see how I got this look, what products I use, and how I keep it going all day without looking like a grease ball by the end of the day, then just please keep watching. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is spray my face using the Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray. I use this because it has oil control, and especially when I use it as my first step, it really keeps me from getting oily throughout the day. So I'm just going to spray my face. I really like this more as a first step than as a setting spray, just because, like I said before, it keeps me from getting oily later in the day, and especially when I'm trying to do a dewy face. It gets a little tricky when you have oily skin because it can get really gross really fast. So I find using that spray as my beginning will really keep me looking good all day long. And then you just wait a minute and let that dry. The next step is going to be priming my face with an actual face primer. I am using the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. I have a little sample of it right here. I love this stuff. It makes any makeup that I put on after it look flawless. And what I love more about it is that you don't have to use a lot to cover your entire face. Like, I just take a little dab like this, and that gets half my face, and another dab like that will get the other half of my face. And it just makes my face feel so silky. Not too matte, but it does keep my oil at bay, and it has SPF 15, which obviously is really nice in the summertime when the sun is out in full force, although SPF is good all year round. Alright, so the next step I have is putting on foundation. Right now I am using the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Luminous in the shades Soft Honey and Creamy Natural. I mix them together for a shade that is perfect for my skin tone. So I do one pump of Soft Honey, and then one pump, a little less than a pump, of Creamy Natural. And then I take my Beauty Blender and I kind of mix it together and start applying it. I really like beauty blenders for the dewy look because it's really going to sheer out your foundation and apply it flawlessly on your face and help prevent any weird lines or cake face. If you're someone that has been struggling with any kind of makeup application when it comes to foundation, definitely try out a beauty sponge. It's going to help give you a very flawless finish, and it makes it just so easy to get that natural look. It's going to help make your foundation application look seamless, effortless, and almost like your skin but better. I absolutely love this guy. And as you can see, it's not 100% full coverage yet, so I just go in with just a tiny bit more of each shade and mix them together, and I go over the spots that I want a little bit more coverage. That way my entire face isn't too heavy, since I don't want it to be too heavy everywhere. I just cover up the certain spots that need that extra bit of love. Like right here has been bad lately, and around my nose. Try and get the inner corner of my eye right there, and then I have this guy right here. And I do this one last, so I don't spread germs all over my face. And I go down my neck to prevent any weird kind of lines, just in case the color is just a little bit off. And there you go. So now that my foundation is on, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer. Lately I have been using the Naked Skin from Urban Decay. This is in medium light neutral, and I have liked this one lately because I don't want something that's too brightening for my under eyes. I just want a coverage, and so it's a little bit lighter than my skin, but not by much. It's basically like very close to the same skin tone, and it's not too brightening. And if I ever want to add brightening, I can go in with MAC Light Boost or the Bare Minerals. I can't think of it right now, but the Bare Minerals one that they have is another good one that I pair with this, and it just kind of brightens it up a little bit, but it gives me more control. So I can choose when I want to have that extra bit of brightness. And today I don't want that extra bit of brightness because I'm really going to focus on my highlight and my blush. So I don't want my entire face to look too overdone. So there you go. All right, so to set things in place a little bit, I am going to use the Too Faced Cocoa Powder Foundation in light medium, and I'm just going to use a fluffy brush to pat on a little bit of product so that when I go in with bronzer and powder afterwards, it doesn't stick and look patchy. This helps me because I have combo oily skin, so I'm dry in some spots and oily in others. And just to kind of make things easier for me, I like to set a powder barrier between my foundation and then my blush and my bronzer. It just helps me with blending later on. You don't have to do this if you don't notice a problem with that with your skin. I just do notice it, so I'm going to do something about it. And I do more patting than swiping because I don't want to move the product. I want to keep the product pretty much where it's at. So I am very careful about how I put powder on. The last step before I get into my bronzer and everything, I am just going to use the Anastasia contour powder in Banana, and I can never remember what this one is. I think this one is Vanilla. So Vanilla and Banana, and I mix them together with my e.l.f. small tapered brush. I love this brush for under my eyes. And I just set under my eyes, and this adds just a tiny bit of brightness without being too much. And it keeps my concealer from moving throughout the day and creasing, which is a huge problem for me. I have a lot of creasing under there. So another trick that I like to do is I like to look up. That way as I'm applying, I'm really getting in there. Because if you like kind of squint or look down, you see that kind of creates these little lines, and I don't want that. So as I'm applying the powder, I look up, and that kind of keeps things nice and smooth for me so that the powder itself doesn't get all bunched up right away. And there you have it. All right, so the next step is going to be to bronze the face. In a glowy skin, you definitely want to have like a contour going. You don't have to contour, but you do want to have that darker bit of shadow. Otherwise it takes away the drama that is really in right now. You want that really pop of brightness, so you want that contrast of color to make the glow stand out more. Right now I'm going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm just going to take my Real Techniques contour brush. I'm going to tap some product on and just start to go into the hollows of my cheeks right here. And I use light pressure. I don't want to move my product around a whole bunch, so a really light pressure as I'm going in, and I focus on the outer parts and then bring it in. And for someone like myself who has kind of a round face, this helps to really shape it better. The darkness, it really draws it, and it makes it look more sunken in and skinnier if I focus the dark part on the outermost parts of my face like that, and then slowly bring it in. If you get too dark all the way down, it just makes your cheeks look a little bit rounder. I don't really want that. And it can kind of make it look like you contoured. Like it makes it more noticeable, and not in a good way, more in like a I'm wearing too much makeup kind of way. So this helps to shape my face. Every face is going to be different, so you just really have to play around with what works for your face shape. And so we get going. And I want a little bit more, so I want a little bit more drama because I'm going to be blending it out a little bit later, so I want it to be a little bit darker than if I wasn't going to blend out a crazy bunch. And there we go. And let's get on the very, very edges of my forehead here. Very, very top right there. And this kind of just shapes my entire face and I bring it a little bit, whatever's left over, no extra product, onto my nose just to like bring my entire face together. And that's the contour part. So now we're gonna have a little bit of fun with some products. I decided I wanted to do a really bronzy look today and focus on the face. So I'm going to use Bobbi Brown Aruba. This is a very dark, warm, you can see like reddish, almost, it's more of a blush for me than a bronzer. So I'm going to use that today with my MAC 129, I think. It's falling apart. I need to get a new one, a new brush, not necessarily from MAC this time, maybe a different, I don't know, another blush brush. If you have any recommendations for a good blush brush, let me know down below, because I have been looking for like an angled blush brush for a while. I'm having a really hard time finding one that's like fluffy and dense but soft. Like I really just want like to be able to diffuse my blush out. So let me know if you have any recommendations. For now I have this guy though, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to tap into the Aruba, and then I'm just going to start more on the outer part of my cheek right here and try and keep it from going too low or too high. Really just try and focus it right in this spot, and then bring it a little bit forward when I just have a little less product. And that just like warms up the face. This bronzer has some shimmer in it, but it's not super noticeable. So it's going to add a little bit more of a glow to my face without being a disco ball. If you know what I'm saying, I don't really want to look like a disco ball. Not saying that that's a bad thing all the time, it's just not necessarily the look I'm going for today. And then I bring it in onto my cheekbones like this. I really like warmer bronzers like this one to use as blush during the summer, because it just is so like, I feel like it's so warm and sexy, and it just, I don't know, like it makes you feel like you're kissed by the sun. It makes me super, super happy. Okay. Alright, so as I'm looking at my face, I'm kind of changing my mind a little bit, so let me grab something. Alright, today I was going to use Cindy Luminizer, and I think I still will, just a tiny bit though. So I'm going to take this guy with, where'd it go? Here. I'm going to take this guy with my little 187 special edition from MAC I got a few years ago, and I'm going to go into Cindy Luminizer, and I'm just going to pinken up this bronzer a little bit. It's just going to add like a pink sheen, and so it's not like too dark. It's going to soften it. Basically, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften it with this guy. And I'm just going to use a dual fiber brush because it's not going to apply too much. It's going to be more of an airbrushed kind of topping. And I'm going to kind of just like blend like crazy. All right. All right, so the next step that I'm going to do, okay. All right, so now it's time for highlighter, and today I'm going to use the Laura Geller Gilded Honey highlight. This is supposed to be similar to MAC's Whisper of Guilt. I never got my hands on Whisper of Guilt. I played with it in the store, and I was like, I'll be back and I'll buy it later. And then by the time I came back, literally like a day later, it was all sold out. I couldn't find it online. I mean, it was like super expensive online. And I'm not really into shopping online a whole lot anyways, which I know is like this big thing. People are always telling me I need to shop online, I can find great stuff, but I'm very minimal when it comes to shopping online. I'm too impatient, and I like to like touch things before I buy them. I like to be able to like play with them, and I don't know, I'm very sensorial in that way. I like to play with the stuff first. I don't know, am I the only one like that? Let me know down below if you're the same. Like, do you online shop, or am I crazy and should I be doing it? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I should shop online more. I've been thinking about it. I mean, there's so many things online, but I don't know. Too impatient. I mean, it's not like I've never bought anything online. I just don't do it a lot. To kind of amp up the highlight, I'm just going to go in with Cindy Luminizer from The Balm.
And just, ooh, no! What am I talking about? I'm not going in with Cindy, I'm going in with Mary Luminizer. This guy right here is beautiful bronzer that you've seen all over YouTube already.
I'm going to take this one. This is like a super bright highlight, and I'm just going to take it, and that's going to go like in the very, very highest points, like kind of in the center where I just applied Gilded Honey, and that's going to add a little bit of dimension to my highlight and just add like a little bit more of like a glow without being too crazy. You can see it just adds like dimension. It just adds dimension. All right, and then taking this guy again and just kind of blending right just below the highlight so that the highlight doesn't take over my blush too much. Just kind of like shape things a little bit. All right. So to recap the steps so far, we put a mattifying spray first, then a primer, then foundation, then this powder, which is a mattifying powder, but I find that the texture or that the finish is more satiny than matte. Then we went in with a darker contour, a warm, a little shimmery bronzer with a pink over the top of that, and then we had 2 different highlights. And so far we are glowing. As you can see, it's super glowy. To finish it off, I'm going to take Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This is perfect for people. I was getting ready to spray while I was talking. Pardon me. This is great for people that have oily skin or combo skin. You still want that glow because it's not too heavy. MAC Fix Plus is a great one as well, but this one's a little bit heavier, so I find that I like to use this one a little bit more lately when it's hot. When it starts to cool off a little bit and I'm a little bit more dry, then Max Fix Plus is what I use. But I cover my T-zone area that gets really oily because I don't want to get that part. And I just spray myself down. And as you can see, it just adds a little bit more of a glisten to my face. You can see like I look so glowy. Alright, so the next step is going to be my eyes, but I'm saving that for next week's tutorial. So I will be right back. I'll show you the finished look and we will do our little outro.